Professor Rajan Shripad Fulari served as a lecturer at Goa College of Fine Art, print studio in charge, and as secretary Lalit Kala Akademi, New Delhi, and assistant professor at College of Arts and Crafts, Lucknow University. His works have been exhibited in many national and international exhibitions. He had his solo shows in Goa, Mumbai, New Delhi, and at Robson Gallery, Halliwell's House Museum, Scotland, and Gallery Tobias Coke in Germany. He has participated in many national and international group shows. He has been awarded Artist in Residency of Fundusau Orient Goa from Portugal, British Council Scottish Border Council for Scotland, and recently McMaster University, Canada. Fulari has also curated, coordinated, and conducted many exhibitions in India and abroad. At present, he works as Dean School of Visual Arts in World Art University, Sonipat. Do keep giving us your love and support by subscribing on the channel if you haven't yet, and do click on the bell icon for the latest update. Hello and welcome to Chaibrary. Today we have with us Rajan Shripad Fulari, artist, art educator, and art curator. Rajan, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure.
Really looking forward to our interesting discussion on various diverse topics.
Hopefully.
Yes. So Rajan, currently, I would like to start from the present. And you're right now the Dean of School of Fine Arts for World University of Design, right?
Yeah, I'm a dean with the School of Visual Arts.
Visual Arts, yeah.
At World University of Design, that's based in Sonipat.
Right. So tell us about the university and what is the pedagogical philosophy based on which, because it's interesting and I think very few such universities are there just focused on design.
Yeah, that's right. World University of Design, which has started in 2018. We always call ourselves very young university.
Right.
It's a university, the only university I would say, which only caters to art and design. And we also say we are the university without boundaries. So we have 7 streams. The streams, I would say, School of Visual Arts, School of Performing Arts, School of Communication, School of Design, School of Fashions, and combination of all together we have School of Business Management.
Okay.
And these are all the school which comes under one umbrella. And where, when I say we don't have the boundaries, the students are allowed to cross the boundary, so they can go interactions within the schools.
Oh, is there an open curriculum?
Yeah, they can explore their whatever the process and the methodology which we follow. They can go and explore themselves within that given specific field which they have chosen.
Okay. So is product design or things like that is also part
of it?
We do have.
It comes under School of Design.
School of Design.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it is completely interdisciplinary.
Yeah, like if I talk about the School of Visual Art, we have 2 different subjects. Like we have School of Department of Creative Paintings, which caters to BVA and Masters also, MBA.
Okay.
And then we have a Department of the Digital Drawing and Illustrations. Okay, so now in most of the art colleges, they have departments of applied art, painting, and sculptures.
Right.
Now, we don't have a applied art department because we have a communication department also separately. And when we talk about a DDI, that is digital drawing and illustration, that means we are only catering to digital drawing and illustration. Okay. The students are given more specific training in these subjects.
Okay. So, and they, in their 3 or 4 years of graduation, they can tailor their curriculum, or they need to, they are exposed to through different other kind of programs.
They
like
do.
Fine art, are they exposed to other?
We do have a foundation course that which is for the 1 year, which caters to 2 semesters, and then there are specialization for other semesters.
Right.
So it goes to the DDI and it goes to CP also.
Okay. So how is it different from a traditional fine art college education for someone? How would it be?
The basic syllabus, I would say, rather, we do cater to the foundation, which is, I strongly believe that, in a given context, we need to have a strong foundations, because it is the time of the AI also.
Right, yeah.
When we talk about the AI, you have got everything on the fingertips, but I always tell my students also, you need to fundamentally strong first of all. To get those fundamentals strong, we make the students rigorously work,
Go through all that.
go through all that, and then there are specialization which have been given to them, and where they can, as I said, they can explore and experiment on the whatever levels they want to go.
Right.
And in a context like, if they want to do a certain performance also, if they want to do installations art also, they are free to do work, but get your foundation right
Foundations
first.
right. Okay, got it. So this is really more relevant to today's world, right? The contemporary context of it gives a much more wider exposure to
Very true, very
in
true.
the contemporary context of
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
going on.
very
Because
true.
Students today just not only use canvas and paper; they're using so many other
Yeah, lot of the other
traditional,
different materials are being
materials,
used.
technology, and
Yes.
everything put together.
Another thing, like, as we were earlier discussing, like, we in a present context, the individual is free to
Right.
explore, explore and experiment also.
Right.
So why not, give the training to the people, individual, to explore and experiment with the different techniques. I strongly believe that, as I said, they fundamentally they have to be strong, but they can experiment further also. And as you have seen also, like in a present context, a lot of the architects or the designers
Yes,
also
yeah.
get into the field of visual art.
Right.
It's fair enough. It's a democratic way of making statement. But there has to be a certain language one should know about visual art. See, tomorrow if I want to get into the different profession, I can get it into that, but I need to know the scientific approach of doing that. And in visual art also, there is a scientific
is a
approach
set,
to it also.
yeah.
You cannot randomly tomorrow go and start painting. I may
course.
be good. Like if I tell the students, I may be a very good singer, but I cannot get into singing without knowing the basic fundamentals of the singing or the music. One has to know the grammar to it.
That's
In
true.
the same way, even in visual art also, the grammar is one of the very fundamental which is required essentially.
So what about, what is your opinion about, there are lots of self-taught artists who have made their names in history. So without any technical, support or training, how does that work then? I mean, just a personal question.
No, that's
The
fine.
question is coming in my
No,
mind.
I do agree. Like, if I can take the names, like, we have a big name like Arpana Kaur, we have got Kishan Khanna, and many more,
Right,
who have made the big names.
Huh.
But I have seen their growth as a younger person also. Like, they were rooted also.
That's true.
For them, art was not just as a hobby.
Passing thing.
It was a passion for them also, and they have evolved themselves on that.
And
We cannot restrict anybody. As I said, it is a democratic way of expressing yourself.
Right,
but one needs to get your fundamentals correct, whether it is intellectually also,
that's true.
theoretically also.
Of course, otherwise you can't excel.
This 40 chairs which I painted, which I designed individually, and every 40 chairs had a printout then.
So coming to you, and since you have done fine arts and you've in Goa University and then going forward in Baroda, you've done your MFA. You've also done a film institute degree,
Pune.
diploma in Pune. So you yourself, you are also quite transdisciplinary. So how was that interest from fine art to film came, and how does that help you as an artist? I mean, how has it been for you?
I did my bachelor's from Goa College of Arts and then further did my master's from Vadodara. Coming back from Vadodara, I joined Goa Doordarshan as a graphic designer.
Okay.
I think that was one of the change which I got in my own career also. being a graphic designer then, it was more you are exposed to all the
that
very
was the
integrated part of how the film makings are being done. And being a graphic designer also, you need to do illustrations, calligraphies, set designing, everything as a part of it. So I think that breaks my individualistic approach towards being a painter also. And further, I did my specialization in printmaking. And printmaking allowed me more to, because printmaking is the medium where it is more liberal, I feel.
Right.
So you
can experiment a lot.
You can experiment more. You can experiment and exhibit around also.
Right.
There are no restrictions drawn. So you, like being here today, you can exhibit across the world.
Right.
But in other mediums, you have to be restricted within yourself.
Right.
I think that was one of the reasons. I got into earlier with painting, printmaking, then graphic designing. Later on, when I joined the LK also as a graphic supervisor, it helped me to get more explore with the artists from different genre also, like younger and the very senior. Then that was allowed me again to get more exposed to organizing part of it.
So you were part of the graphic department in Lalit Kala for quite a long time.
Yeah, I was almost there for 12 years in Goa Art Studios.
Right. Yeah.
So in fact, that was one of the period of my career, I would say, which allowed me to get interacted with different mindsets, I would say.
Right,
young
because
and
it's
the
a
senior
melting pot of every
yes.
kind of
And I was really lucky enough to have some of the big names. And when you have these big names around you, you need to learn a lot of things.
Right, of course.
And being a part of the administration, I was doing a lot of the activities then within Lalit Kala and outside Lalit Kala also. So organizing became part of me, part and parcel, I would say. And that was directly, indirectly forced me, or I diverted myself to organize or coordinate or later on curating the activities.
Okay. So you, within your, the core domain, you have a transdiscipline experience, and in your career also you're having such different kinds of experiences that building you through. So I wanted to go back to your childhood in Goa, and how was growing up in Goa, how did that contribute? How did the influence of art came to you? How did it come to your life? We always, obviously, people who are not living in Goa think of Goa as a place for freedom. So how is it for a budding artist to be in Goa? So give us an idea about your childhood and your growing up in short. I mean, whatever you want to share.
I'll put it in the other way, many people always, when I tell them I'm from Goa, they first of all, they say, wow.
Yes, always.
And again, they will say, why you are here? You should be back in Goa. But I always tell them, yes, I am born and brought up from Goa. And somewhere I am still rooted with the Goa. But when I talk about the starting of my career, the art always came as a challenge to me. So in fact, the challenge started in school. When there was this teacher who had come from a very fresh young teacher, Mr. Ramesh Iyengar, who had joined the school, and he started with the Rangoli exhibitions and competition for the school kids.
Okay.
And there I became the part of it. Though I was painting, but art was never a serious affair for me. So slowly I got involved into getting into the Rangoli aspects. And Rangoli for me then, it was not only as a traditional form of art, but it was more on the professional aspects of it. And later on, when I became a part of the College of Art also in Goa, I was still continuing with the practice of the art.
I mean, I've seen those pictures. You've elevated Rangoli to a completely different form, and with so much intricacy, and also so much of Indian mythology and traditional depiction. So it was like quite a different thing. I mean,
Yeah,
do
but as I
talk
said,
about it a little bit.
it started as a traditional form of art because Goa has got a strong religious celebrations of Ganesh Chaturthi.
Right, right.
And not only Ganesh Chaturthi or Diwali or any other festivals, we do have a Rangoli which is part of the culture of the Goans.
But that Rangoli must be graphic in nature, like
Graphically,
the way,
that's what
way
I'm coming
it
to.
is.
And I've seen my mother,
huh.
early morning she used to get up and she used to put the Rangoli in front of the Tulsi.
Right.
So
right.
that also inspired me to why not take this Rangoli form on a different level.
Most Goan houses have the Tulsi, or most even temples have the Tulsi
yes.
thing, yeah.
So there it's all started, and I took Rangoli because as I joined the College of Art, the subject matter changed me. I became more aware about like why not change the traditional form of Rangoli into not only as a graphic form, but it was more subjective.
As a work of art.
So I did many Rangolis across, and then further, in near future, I've been like not been able to practice much about Go, but yes, Rangoli was the key factor where I got into the form of practicing my art.
So all those very complicated and intricate images, they're all done with powder?
Yeah, and that these are all the marble dust powder.
Marble dust powder.
Yeah.
All obviously ethereal because it will just go away.
Yes. And
amazing.
the sad part of it, Rangolis cannot be preserved in that sense,
Right.
And I did practice many times to preserve this Rangoli, and I did experiment with different methods also about experimenting with the Rangolis. But even then also, and Rangoli needs to be done with certain specific timing.
Right.
You cannot start the Rangoli and then you come tomorrow and
right.
you have to be
finished.
I think that is one thing which allowed me to be more patient when you work in any given assignments, I would say.
Right.
Because I used to start a Rangoli drawing early morning and finish it at a stretch till by the evening.
Right.
You cannot even have a tea or a samosa or anything. You need to finish it, start in the morning and then finish it. And that was a part of the competition also. You are given a certain specific times. So
very
it was challenging.
Very challenging.
Very challenging.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Because that's something, I think you really carved a niche for yourself at that point of time, very early.
Yeah.
With doing that, right? Because that's a very different
That's early 90s, I would say.
Right, yes. I also wanted to discuss with you the installations that you have done, and you're very interested in doing installations, and tell us about how it started and which are the ones that you remember fondly.
I passed out from the Vadodara in 95, then came back to Goa. I joined the Goa College of Art as a visiting faculty. And slowly, some back of the mind, I used to read a lot around also and find out what is happening around. Somewhere it struck me like, that there is something what is happening called installation or installation art. This is I'm talking way back in 94, 95.
Mid-90s, okay.
Yeah, or early 20s, I would say. First installation which I did was with one gallery called Art House in Goa. I did the installation, it is there on the YouTube, it's called as the musical chairs in the garden.
Okay.
It was very political statement because
I do remember seeing it, but explain a little of that.
It is an installation.
In black and white, I saw some pictures.
Yeah.
Right.
We didn't have anything to document then. It was only photography, or somewhere my friends used to help me to do a video shoot because he was a journalist. I should take his name. That is Joel D'Souza. He's no more.
Okay.
And he was a fine photographer. So this musical chairs in the garden was a social political statement which I made because in Goa we had a very political turmoil. There was a lot of the reshufflings of the governments again and again. So, and secondly,
it's still like that, isn't it? Or
no,
it's
it
a
was
little
there.
more stabilized?
It was more stable. Yeah, but during that period, it was like affecting because Goa has been always destined to known as the tourism industry,
Right.
And whether it is the local tourists or the foreign tourists,
right.
Mostly the local tourists, so people are least bothered about the environment or the touristic place. So that was somewhere it was affecting my mind also. Why not make a statement? So I made this 40 chairs, which I painted, which I designed individually. and every 40 chairs had a printout den because computers were the new thing which had come out. The printouts were done with the help of the different signs or the symbols which mostly the politician uses, whether it is muscle power, money power, or using of force, anything, and they were representing this 40 chairs, and 40 chairs again was representing the 40 MLAs in Goa.
Okay.
And in between this chair, I had made a bit of the Adam and Eve painting.
Okay.
Where I had put the crab. So it was reflecting the crab mentality of the politicians then. And surrounded with the garbage, I forced the audience to walk through that garbage because it was a statement like, being in Goa, you come, you drink a glass of beer or can of beer or a Bisleri bottles and you just throw them out. And you want to be that place to be clean and neat. But which was again affecting the tourism industry. And politicians were least bothered about that. So that was the statement which I made through that installation. And that was the first installation which I did. And there was many more installation which I started doing. Then I had done some site-specific installation even in Chennai also with the place called Dakshina Chitra. And I did one installation in Jahangir Art Gallery. And yeah, that was the time where installation was not taken on a serious level, where in present context, installation has become
a
part,
big one,
part
of it.
And it's a big one. But for me, being a visual artist, I strongly believe, because I take myself being a bit traditional also. The reason being, I tell the people or the students are also, you may, as I said earlier also, you may experiment or explore, but you need to be making a statement as a visual artist. You cannot be random, you cannot just put anything and say this is the installation. So that was one of the reason. Then I had made use of the technology also, traditional painting also, even garbage for that matter. And that is what should be reflected as a visual installation.
Installation thing. A lot of times, the explanation for the installation is one page long, and you don't realize till you read it what it is. I always wonder, should that be the case? Because visual art is visual. We should respond visually first. So this always there is this.
Like that's quite interesting, which again I'm talking mostly it's around the student-centric thing. Because why I'm saying, as you said, always your narrative is much more bigger than
sometimes
the visual.
You find that
most of the time, I would say, not sometimes, most of the time. But yes, I tell students, you join the art college for 4 years, and then you go as a visual artist, as an artist. When you go home, I am sure your parents will be definitely asking you, beta, you have passed out from the art college. Can you just draw a portrait of me? I think that is what should be reflected. Being a visual artist, first of all.
From the skill point of view.
Yes. No parents will suddenly say, you have passed out from the art college, better come and sing a song for me. What the point is that when it is a visual artist, you need to reflect yourself visually also.
Yes.
And you have to be aesthetically strong also.
You're saying that your foundation has to be very strong. So do you see that happening in the current lot of the graduates who are coming out? What do you think as an educationist? Do you think there are gaps? What do you think the situation is? Because a lot of time now I see a lot of young individuals who want to pursue career in art are like, they meet me and they want to go abroad for their graduation itself. So clearly they're probably seeing a little more value add in that. So do you have any opinion about how we are in India, what the education system is, or whether there's scope for growth? And like, you are part of our institution also, but overall I'm talking about right now, and overall, is it enough?
No, I think in India we have a lot of things to offer for the younger lot, I would say, specifically to do with the visual art. If you take the premium institutions, they do have a strong foundations which is there already. And I believe strongly that this can be fundamentally correct to make these students much more rooted. Again, I'm saying, when I say about the rooted, because we have been following 75 years the Western pattern of the academic structures, and we always talk about the getting back into the roots. Now, when we talk about getting back into the roots, are we making them aware about the traditions or the culture, what is there, or allowing them to reflect in their own work, or simply, as we were talking about the installation art, are we telling them, okay, the ultimate goal for you is to experiment or explore or make a videos or a performing art just for the mere sake of making it, or do we want to make the statement visually where you allow the audience to be part of it, because otherwise it is just become a momentary things where you enjoy it and you give up. But
so here 2-3 things we are talking, so let's break it down. First thing that you mentioned, I would like to elaborate on that for you to be doing it, which is, that's a very interesting, good thing. You mentioned that we are saying to our artists that be grounded and rooted, but we are teaching them Western art history. So there is a contradiction out there. So tell us a little more about what is the gap? What is the gap you're feeling?
I don't have issues with the Indian or the Western history or the or the contemporary history also. That's not the point. The point is that when I say that rooted, why not make them aware about what is there within our tradition
culture,
or art?
So our traditional work, our tribal artwork,
tribal
indigenous
art,
work.
indigenous works.
We don't actually, even in art history, I have not studied, we have not had any paper on traditional art history, which means the tribal art history. We did not have, which is, I think, sad.
That's a quite sad part of it.
Which is sad.
As you said, we do learn.
That is our indigenous, that's our root.
We are aware about what has happened in even starting from the Renaissance period till the modern phase. We are quite aware, but we are not aware about there is a Goan painting, or there is a Pithora painting, or the different styles of miniatures. We are not least aware
about. That's a gap.
That's a gap.
Sure.
So why not make this schooling stronger? I always say. Even when I was working with the institutions also, I have always made a point that organizing a workshop or conducting the camps doesn't take you anywhere.
It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy. Nothing. No.
But I strongly believe that if you want to continue with the tradition, because these are all the dying traditions, I would say,
absolutely.
Why not make it schools for them? Why not make a school of the Madhubani painting? Because everybody wants to learn Madhubani painting right now. Similarly, the other form of the traditional art also, so that it becomes grammatically strong also, and where you teach them methods and material also. It is not will be restricted to the canvas or the acrylic paints. Then you will allow them to get understanding the chemistry of how the colors are being made.
How the indigenous colors are made with the vegetable dye. And
very true. If you talk about the Varli painting, then you need to know how the Varli paintings have been made. It is not only giving the white space and then you tell them the form has to be in a Varli style and you make a painting out of it. No. So I strongly believe tomorrow maybe some students from the West or any other part of the world also, they may come here to learn that. And that will allow to get the larger audience to it. And definitely one can change this language into the contemporary language also. Mixing of the tradition and the contemporary. I think that should be the main focus of our institutions also.
That's an excellent point you have taken out, because definitely I also feel personally there is a big gap in that, and I guess that's why the rootedness probably is, sometimes when we see it missing, it happens. Coming to, we can go all in that. I would like to come back to your career as an artist. So before we lose track in all the other interesting topics. So you are a printmaker more, or you are a multidimensional artist? How do you call yourself first?
As I said, I just call myself
as an artist. How do you slot yourself?
No, I just call myself visual artist if I want to put it in the professional this thing. But yes, printmaking is always close to my heart. And
why is that?
As I said, maybe whatever you do when you are young, that somewhere it is getting reflected. I was not aware that I would be one point I'll be taking printmaking as a serious career, But thanks to my teachers like K.S. Vishwamara, Anuman Kamli, and later on P.D. Dumal, Vijay Bagudi, Rini Dumal, all these people, they had made a deep impression on me. And further, I got the chance to get do my research scholarship also in.
You got a Charles Wallace,
Charles Wallace,
and then you've gone to Scotland for
Scotland
your
in the Glasgow Print Studio also, where it opened the different mindsets for me. There, how the printmaking can be one of the major stream across. Like I've seen in Glasgow printmaking it is like in each and every house you find there is a language of the
like
prints.
That?
Yeah, it's like that. Like here, if you talk.
Why so? Is there any historical?
I believe there is a strong awareness about the printmaking.
Okay.
Here in India, we do talk about printmaking, but when it comes to the economics of printmaking, every gallery or every promoters, they always say.
I'll come to that. I want to discuss this with you. And just I'm remembering, since you're in Goa, so I think in India, our relationship with printmaking started in Goa itself.
Yes.
When the Bible,
during
I think 1560 or whatever, with the printing of the Bible. The first machine had come there, I believe.
Started.
Yes.
In fact, I had my dissertation in my master's also. It was called Advent of Printmaking in Goa and the Contemporary Art Scenario.
Right. Yes, so coming to printmaking, I'll still steer away from the other discussion and focus on you as an artist. So in your body of work, human body is an integral part. So, and why so? And explain your artistic inquiry a little bit for us.
As a printmaker, I strongly believe, again, the drawing is the key factor. And I strongly believe, or I like to draw always. And I started my journey working as an artist in painting by drawing. And that drawing has carried further into my prints also. Now, human life always fascinates me. And I always believe that human body, it is like, it is the ultimate signature for anything. And that is the body itself fascinates me a lot, and I always like to use the human body in my work. With the subjectively it differs, like I may put in the human body in different contexts, maybe socially or politically, but the in each and every work of mine there would be a human bodies. It may be a male torso or a female torso, or maybe it's, sometimes the use of the different organs of the human body.
Yes, I've seen that.
Maybe
heart comes a lot in your
heart or the mind or the backbone. I think that itself again signifies a lot of things. When we always call ourselves, your backbone has to be strong. What does it mean? It means goes as like in socially we always call you like you have to be firm in what you say. You have to be firm in what you do also.
So you're saying we always associate it with the part of our body?
Yeah. Again, for that matter, when I use the mind or the heart also, like we call like you when you talk as through your heart, but you don't think through mind.
Right. But we are always referring to parts of our body.
To the different parts.
That's interesting. You are in such multiple responsibilities. So do you get chance to fully explore or practice your art nowadays, because you are in such important institutions
one
you've
has
been part
to manage the time.
Right.
One has to manage the time, and I do have my printmaking studios, and recently I started with my small organization called White Temple also.
White Temple.
Yeah, it is
what
more.
Is that
it is basically to promote art and culture, and yes, definitely to do with the printmaking. So I had my printing press earlier also, which was there in Lucknow. Earlier it was in Delhi. Then when I shifted to Lucknow, it was in Lucknow. Then I got back in Delhi right now. So I have a small studio where I try my level best to practice, come out with the time and do my own printmaking also. But the studio is always open to the public, public in a sense. For a younger generation, I have a few younger artists, students also, who have been working in my space there.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. That's great, because I think not too many printmaking studios are there in a city like Delhi.
But one thing to mention, in last couple of the years, the younger lot is having
Interest back to printmaking?
yeah,
Yes, I also
and they are
noticed.
seriously taking printmaking as a profession, and they have their own studio spaces,
Right,
which was
right.
not there. And
Not
I
the
think that
case.
was one of the reason the different studios were set up by LK also, or many other organizations. But now individually, a lot of the younger generation of the artists, they do have their own spaces,
Right.
and that's quite positive.
That's
Sorry.
true, that's true. So, a couple of questions in my mind related to printmaking. Back to what you stated that people do not, the market of printmaking seems to be always an issue. And I know I've been an ardent admirer of printmaking, it's close to my heart. I've done exhibitions. Two questions, I guess. Why do you think this happens where people have this attitude towards multiple editions as different than one single edition? And is there any difference in the patronage and appreciation of printmaking in India versus abroad? And is there any way we can...
I think
gap.
there is when it comes to printmaking, people do talk about printmaking, but when it comes to actual practical practices of printmaking, it do take the backseat always. So I think that is one of the likeness in the printmaking scenario.
Right.
But
But it is one of the most democratic
very much,
medium.
very much.
Yes.
In fact, as I said, the younger lot have been practicing printmaking in a very serious level.
And very interesting way. So then you, in printmaking, there is also this, there is a little bit of purist approach and then a little bit of experimental approach,
Very true,
right?
very true.
And I see a lot of younger artists are using printmaking techniques in their, maybe in their board and canvases,
Anything,
or
anything.
they're using
there are a lot of the digital
layering,
image making
digital
processes
as
also
one of
being
the
used
layering.
also.
So what do you think about those experimentations? Because typically we know printmaking as, you know,
No, as I said,
very...
the younger lot are doing quite well, I believe. And yes, and they have been exhibiting internationally also. It's not restricted within the galleries in India, but they have been exhibiting
so their
abroad
exposure
also.
is also being there
and they are quite aware about what is happening around. As you said, printmaking is quite democratic also. Like I can be, you can be a curator also, you know, and if you want to get done your prints also. These are the facilities which are available in the printmaking. Like I have my own studios. I can do the master printing in my studios also. Like all the seniors artists or the younger lot, if they want to come and practice, they can practice. And if you have a master printmaker who can help you out to pull out the prints, you don't need to know the entire process of the printmaking. Definitely, it helps you a lot to evolve in making the image making
it's
process.
It's a very collaborative, there is a sense of collaboration in it, a lot.
In fact, earlier printmaking studios were called as the community studio. And I think that was one of the reasons, you know, you cannot be individualistic. When it comes to the print, you need to take the help of the different people, maybe, and you can't be alone.
That's the beauty of it, I guess.
Yes.
So when I meant democratic, I also meant from the patronage point of view that there is, because of the limited edition, a newcomer artist, collector who is, you know, just stepping into the collecting world, maybe not very confident of investing a lot. He can get something at a very accessible rate and a very good quality work. And I do remember some of my first few purchases were a woodcut or a calligraphy, because you enjoy the work and yet you are getting it at a, you know, at a level that you are comfortable with. So from that angle I meant, but still I do see there is still, whether we like it or not, there is a stigma of this multiple editions and a single canvas.
It's always like the question has been put up by the
is it there elsewhere also? So always, it's not unique. So
I think that is the likeness of the awareness among the audience, I would say, when it comes to a printmaking, because the so-called even the galleries sometimes they are not being able to convince this audience. I think this is the major role should be played by the not only by the printmakers or even the gallery people.
I agree with you.
And that needs to be educated to those audience. You know, where when you have a print of a master's on a very nominal cost, I would say, like, you know, and that can decorate your own space also, and you can enjoy that space. You may not be having a signature of the big name, but at least if you have a print of
Right.
that value, you
Absolutely.
can enjoy that also.
Absolutely.
And I think the one of the major thing which happens in printmaking is the portfolio making.
Right, yes.
I think the portfolios are the one of the culture which has been started for quite a few years back.
It's a very interesting thing.
It's
Even
a very
I've been a
interesting-
part of that.
Yes.
And it kind of gives, again, it is so much about collaboration.
Yes, it's about collaboration
yeah,
also.
yeah.
But one can have different images within that portfolio also. you
Right.
know. Different artists in that portfolio also. And not only the different artists, but they can be from the different part of India or different part of the world
Right,
also.
yes, that's the
and
beauty of that.
another best part about the portfolio, you can exchange your work also.
Right,
Which normally in painting you can't do it.
Can't do it.
Yeah, but in printmaking definitely one can do that.
Yes.
And that is what, like personally, I have a few collections of prints portfolios
Yeah.
where I was always a part of it. So
right.
now, if I want to cherish those images, like I can have prints from different part of across the world.
Right, absolutely. And at a comfortable, this thing. That's the beauty of it. Yes, I agree with you that there should be more education and initiatives to do that. And there is, however, it still probably needs to be a little more because the collector or a new person really fully doesn't yet understand. And also this thing about the word print unfortunately gets confused with the digital print reproduction and all. There's a whole lot of explanation that needs to be given.
No, and many time it happens like the galleries also are not aware. I'm sorry to say, not aware
Yeah.
about what is this print all about. It's not only when you say it is a print means
Right,
it is
right.
just offset print.
Yeah.
It has to be print in a very traditional methods also. You should know
What are the
whether-
techniques and all
what are
that,
the
yes.
techniques which are being done by the artist, and what are the qualities definitely also.
Right.
And then one should say that these prints are uniquely signed by the artist.
Yeah.
And with the number of the editions.
Right, yes.
Many times people think it is a print, it is just for the sake of the print. But no, it is a print where there are number of the additions to it, and the signature value is also added to that. Without the signature of an artist,
It
that
is not a
print
print.
is valueless.
Correct.
So that awareness has to be made with the audience.
Into it. Yeah. So coming to this topic, I would like to ask you about your curatorial ventures. You've done you have been part of various initiatives, probably mostly with printmaking.
Yeah.
So give us an idea about the interesting projects that you've been a part of, or you've done it, or you've led.
Yeah, it's all started with, as I said, I should thank Lalit Kala also. When I joined Lalit Kala has got a setup of organizing workshops, camps, lectures and all this. This somewhere got within me and allowed me to go on a larger scale with doing the more activity for self-satisfaction,
Right,
and
right.
I always like to do whatever I do. I want to do everything in a very perfect manner. I don't want to do it just for the trend.
Right.
So I have been organizing or curating a lot of the exhibition within India or outside also. I did some print biennales and triennales also, where I personally as represented
Which
as
year
a
was
curator.
those? This is the 2019.
No, earlier than that
Earlier than
also.
that,
I have represented with the Sasel Sprint Biennale for many biennales.
I mean to say the Lalit Kala one that happened.
No, I'm
that's
talking about the individualist.
individual one.
Individual
Okay.
wala.
Yeah. So and
But-
then which ones are
Yeah,
this?
then Sasel Sprint Biennale. Then I have been represented with the Charmela's Sprint Biennale. Then in India, some of the individuals group shows also.
Right.
And then individual shows also. And portfolio making. Portfolio making also becomes a part of that. So these were the activities as a curator which I have been doing, and it always fascinates me. Not because of the financial matters of it, but it is like for, as I said, it becomes the community together.
Correct. Absolutely.
You try to bring the different mindsets together. It is very easy to do exhibitions of the painting, but it is very difficult to do exhibitions of the prints.
It is challenging.
It is very challenging, and you know it
Yes.
personally also. So it's very challenging.
Yeah,
so
it is.
that is what allows me to, or feels good for me to be a curator also.
Right. Absolutely. And so you have a printmaking department in World University.
We do have a printmaking, but it's not on that scale of printmaking. we have limited infrastructure, but yeah, we do have a printing press
Right,
and all.
yeah. Okay.
And we, as I said, we have only two departments, DDI and CP.
Okay, right. So a couple of questions related, since you're from Goa, that's coming in my mind. And the Goa art scene is really coming up year by year, and we are getting to hear more and more activities from Goa. I mean, of course, Serendipity Art Festival was probably one of the main that started the thing. But whenever I had gone there, there's something new or some kind of new activities were going on. So what is your opinion? How is it coming up in your since you're from Goa?
See, you're right. Like Goa is a very happening place right now, but it was always.
It was always. Now there's a rediscovery that people are actually going there and settling down.
I would say traditionally.
It's really too happening right now.
Yeah, traditionally and culturally, if you see, you have all big names which has come up from Goa. You take individually, visual arts section, we have Lakshman Pai, we have Trinidad, you have FN Souza, you have GS Gaitonde.
Lakshman Pai is also from Goa.
Yeah, he was my teacher.
Oh.
So they all come from. You have in music, you have Kishori Amonkar and many other people. They are all from Mangeshkar's families. They are all from Goa.
Right.
So Goa has always been the focus of the art and culture. Yes, in a contemporary scenario now, the things have changed now, and a lot of the youngsters are actively getting part of these activities, and they are showing themselves on the national level also. The younger lots are going outside Goa to have their education maybe in Vadodara or maybe in Shantiniketan or maybe in Hyderabad also, and different other schools. So that is one point. And socially, I would say that Goa, the art has got a lot of the exposure outside. And because there are a lot of the new rich which wants to get settled down in Goa, they want to acquire the art. I think that is another plus point for the Goan artists also.
That's the latest one that's coming up right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because of the boom in the
real estate.
Yes. Art also tries to flourish also.
Of course.
So maybe that's whether it is a positive or the negative side, I am
we'll see that later.
We'll see that later.
I guess I always believe more activities in art, better. It can only be better.
If it is art, I am fine with it. But when it comes to real estate, I have a questions for it.
Yes, and as a Goan, I'm sure you have big reservations.
Very true. Very true.
I have very fond memories of whenever I visited that place. Other question that I wanted to ask was, you've worked in a public institution and you're now working in private institution. So, what is in your opinion that we can do more in both the sectors? You've seen the two.
There are always plus and minus of both the setups, I would say, whether it is a public or the private one. And luckily, yes, I was always associated with the public institutions, and which I did learn a lot of things from it, and which allowed me to get into the private institution right now.
Because of the experience.
Yes, the public institution do have the very good legacies, I would say. Private institutions are being, again, as I said, So, but yes, there are a lot of the possibilities one can do within both the setups. And one needs to have a proper vision for it. One needs to have the right people on that, whatever the position you have in those institutions. If you don't have the right people on those institutions, then it becomes because socially, I always believe that whatever the scenario you are creating, that itself is setting up the examples for the younger generations also, and that itself socially you are creating the mindsets of the social. Like if you have seen a lot of the public domain projects, there are a lot of the public funds which are being used in the public domain projects, but are we having the right people over there?
Right.
We need to have a right people.
So then only to be an overall vision for the whole thing.
And then only aesthetically you will have those. What you see in the West, we always cater to West because there is a line drawn always somewhere over there. It is not because I know Lubna, because you become a part of the program. And I think that is what should not be the drawbacks of this institution, whether it is a public or the private ones. So socially, it will give a lot of the changes in the mindset, like people being a parents, people do take their kids to the malls.
Right.
How many parents do take their children to the museums or the galleries?
Still very few.
Maybe not even 5%.
Very few, yeah.
So I think that change has to come through the awareness from these institutions, whether it is a public or the private. Hopefully, sooner we'll be able to see the change. We have to be always positive about it.
Of course. And because I think I'm sure there'll be a point when so many artists who are getting trained, I mean, all of you have also been trained to some extent abroad, when they see what's there, and hopefully they come back and they implement such things in their individual careers. That's what the idea is. So what's your vision for your future? What's there that you're looking forward to in the near future, or something that dream project that you would love to do?
And as I said, I have started with my small organization called White Temple, and I have a dream project to do a major portfolio with some of the young and the senior lots to bring together and document them, and through printmaking.
Okay.
Whether you'll be
any particular topic you're looking at?
No. It's only a mega project of 75 years of independence celebration, which is just over. But there would be 75 printmakers who would be not as a printmaker. They would be from a different, they may be a sculptor, they may be a painter, maybe from the theatre also, or maybe from the any other. As I said, I want to make it happen, printmakers crosses all the boundaries.
All the boundaries. So others are coming into and doing the printmaking portfolios, you mean?
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah, that's one thing. And we always have to be positive about, younger, to see the younger lot being a teacher or being an art educator.
Right.
The younger lot have to have their own passion. They should be getting motivated with whatever they do.
Right.
So, get rooted with fundamentals.
Absolutely. And if I were to ask you, what is art to you?
Passion.
Okay.
In simple.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we are sitting at Chaibrary, so give us your feedback about Chaibrary, what you think of it, and how can we improve?
I have been following Chaibrary for quite some time, and I'm really honored to be around here now. And this type of initiative, on a personal note, I would say yes, it has to be there, because I don't know how much I would be putting in this convocation what we've been having for last 1 hour, but these documented things will be the part for the next generation.
Absolutely.
Which is one thing
that's one of the ideas for sure.
Which is lacking. Whether it is a video or the written matter, India do not have a documented things. As I said, I have interacted so many people, young and the senior most generation of artists. And they have told me so many stories, and I always believe that those stories has to go to the next generation.
Right.
But those stories or those documented things are not available. And tomorrow down the line, maybe some artist who wants to really do certain research on certain topics or certain artists also, these type of initiatives will help them to get into that, because everything is online now. You just click on the fingertips, you get information.
Yeah, and people consume, nowadays the students consume more through YouTube and other things rather than books. So this is a platform that will be more and more used for research anyway. And that's great. Thank you, Rajan. It has been a very exciting discussion. I would say it's a conversation. I think if time was not a limitation, we would have continued for quite some time. A lot of things we covered. And thank you so much for coming over. I know you were in a busy schedule, so giving your time over here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lubna. Thanks a lot. And thanks to Chaibrary also, because, as I said, yes, we look forward to this type of programs. And I'm sure it will definitely help a lot of people around also.
For sure.
Maybe to educate more about printmaking in the art scenario.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Chaibrary. Do keep giving us your love and support by subscribing on the channel if you haven't yet. And do click on the bell icon for the latest update. And till we meet again, this is Lubna Sen from the studio of Chaibrary. Take care.